config t interface G0/0 no shutdown and IP address 10.1.100.255.255.255.0 exit no IP routing IP default gateway is 10.1.1.254 exit anything else IP DHCP pool Cisco network 10.1.1.0 255.255.255.0 and default router IP is 10.1.1.254 exit. Am I missing anything on DHCP server, guys?
We don't need to exclude or
DNS.
That is fine. Yeah, we can define the DNS. Okay. DNS 8.8.8. Anything else?
Yeah.
Now all the commands are accepted. Now let me access any PC. PC1. First I am trying to get IP. So MAC address table. Is it learning MAC address on G0/0 where PC is connected? Yes. Is it the MAC address of PC1? So IP all. Yes, this is the MAC address of PC1 only. Then IP DHCP. Why I'm not getting IP address from the DHCP server? Let me enable debugging on DHCP once. Debug IP DHCP server events and IP DHCP. Now it's working. DORA process. You can see, right? Now I am going to enable DHCP snooping on switch. Config T host name switch 1 IP DHCP snooping IP DHCP snooping for VLAN 1 IP DHCP snooping information option say no to this command and nothing else. Now go to PC 1 again. PC1 say IP DHCP. Exactly.
Ports are untrusted.
All the ports are untrusted only. So IP DHCP snooping, right? There is no trusted port. So config T interface G1/2 IP DHCP snooping trust, and you can also set limit rate 10. Done. Now go to PC client machine, say IP DHCP. Now DORA process is working and on the switch. Now I can see the binding table as well. So IP DHCP snooping binding. Here you can see in the binding table there is one entry. This is the IP address of the client machine 10.2. This is the MAC address of my client machine, lease time and VLAN information and interface. Okay. This will be the information in DHCP binding table. Got it? Let me take you to
and
PC.
that lease time is in seconds?
Yes, it is in second. For PC2, so IP DHCP binding has assign IP. I think go to PC2, DORA, PC3, DORA process done, and PC admin PC DORA process done. Go to your switch and check the binding table now. Here you can see the updated binding table. Till here everything is clear to all of you, correct?
Sir, the
Yes, sir.
limit is per second, so like maximum like you have set limit 10, so maximum 10 packets can be like sent to that port per second, right?
Right.
Including like discover, request, offer, all messages.
Only discover or offer message.
Okay.
Okay. On these ports also you can set the limit. Otherwise, these client machines are allowed to generate thousands and thousands of discover message in 1 second. That can also cause issue, right? It can busy your DHCP server. Now here what we will do, with the help of this binding table, we will enable ARP inspection to avoid the main in middle attack, or you can say ARP poisoning or ARP based attack or ARP spoofing attack. For that I will run command IP ARP inspection for VLAN 1. ARP inspection is enabled, so IP ARP inspection, and that's it. Here you can see it is enabled, and here you can also see the drop packet, forward packet, right? Now if I am going to send ICMP traffic from PC1 to PC2, let's say ping 10.1.1.3, ping is working, and here on the switch you can see the forward packet 2, a DHCP permit packet 2. But what about the default gateway? See, I am going to configure IP address on my router statically. Am I right? Will this IP address available in the DHCP Snooping binding database table? IP address 10.1.1.254.255.255.255.0 and no shutdown. Will DHCP going to maintain this entry in their table?
Yes, it should, because it's the least time attached to the.
No, sir, no. So no one in your LAN can resolve the MAC address of default gateway. No one in your LAN can resolve the MAC address of default gateway. And if these client machines cannot resolve the MAC address of default gateway, can it send traffic in different subnet? Can it send traffic to internet?
No.
What is the solution? What is the solution? Like you have configured this port
Yes.
G1/0 trusted for DHCP. Similarly, you will configure this port G1/1 trusted for ARP inspection. If you are sure that here no one is going to send a spoof packet over here, if this is your secure port where you have configured the static IP address, in that case you have to configure this port as trusted port for ARP inspection, right? So command is there, one command is there that you will configure. Yesterday we had missed this part. Interface G1/1 IP ARP inspection and trust. This is the command. Now switch is not going to inspect ARP packet on this interface. Apart from this interface, it will inspect ARP packet on all other interfaces. Clear, guys? Clear? Any question?
Sir, like what is the verification command for our inspection? Like how can we can see that it is enabled?
So IP ARP inspection for VLAN 1. Then you can also set the check on interface ARP inspection interface G1/1. You can see this port is trusted port and G0/1. This port is untrusted port, means it will inspect the ARP over here on this particular interface. See, the port where you don't want to inspect ARP packet, you can configure trusted for ARP inspection, and the port where you want DHCP offer message and acknowledgement message, you will configure that port as trusted for DHCP snooping. And if switch don't have any entry in DHCP binding table and ARP inspection is enabled, then you know what will be the issue. Right? Then your LAN network will goes down, completely down. No one can communicate with each other. No one can access internet, cannot access any server, not access remote side, nothing will work. Your LAN is down. That can cause complete LAN down. And what can be the solution? If the DHCP binding table is erased,
Disable ARP inspection.
but if you disabling ARP inspection
Okay.
is not good.
Do trust ARP inspection, trust on.
Isn't it to
You can
restart
first
the machines?
best option is
Restart the
renew
PCs.
the DHCP IP address, right? Or
Yeah,
client
renew,
the IP address. It will maintain the table again. Other option, second option, save and restore DHCP Snooping database table. When everything is updated, at that time you can take backup. Yesterday I had shown you one command on the switch. IP DHCP Snooping database and then flash or TFTP.
Yeah.
Right? Here you can name like DHCP underscore or DHCP
That was IP, TFTP, IP.
dot database DB. Right? But TFTP server is not there in my network. I can do it in flash. I think in EVNG we cannot check flash, right? Like this. Any other option? Static binding, right? You can statically make the entry. You can run command IP DHCP Snooping binding, then MAC address, then VLAN ID, then IP address, then interface. And temporary option is no IP ARP inspection for VLAN. That is going to be your temporary solution. Okay. Now here we have configured this port as trusted port for ARP inspection. Now there was one command, that was IP source guard. IP source guard. Yes, guys. This is IP and MAC binding. IP and MAC binding. Here on the switch, let's suppose this admin PC. This admin PC is using what IP address? On the admin PC, my IP address, so IP all. So IP all 10.1.1.5 and their MAC address is this one. I can bind this MAC address and IP address on the switch, and then I can tell to my switch that, hey, whenever you are going to receive any packet, not ARP, not DHCP, these two features are for one for ARP, one for DHCP packet. This is for any IP packet. Right? I can tell to my switch to verify the source IP address with source MAC address for any packet on G0/3 interface. It is used to prevent IP address spoofing and unauthorized IP uses on the LAN, right? In your local area network. Configuration is very simple. Just you need to run one command here. Let me show you the command as well. Let's suppose I want to bind this IP address and this MAC address on my switch, and then we can change the IP address to verify it. Let me take you to switch. Here command is IP source binding ? It is asking for MAC address, so this is going to be my MAC address, then ? VLAN ID 1, after that IP address 10.1.1.5, then it is asking for interface, then interface type interface type is G0/3, G0/3, then question mark, nothing else, done. Binding is done, but switch is not going to verify it until and unless you will not run source guard command on the interface. Go to interface G0/3, G0/3, and here you will enable one command, IP verify source. That's it.
Was it G0/3? Okay.
Ping is working, and let me try to change the IP address, and then let me ping 10 dot. I'm going to configure 20 for a moment, and then let me ping. Now see, ping is not working. It is discarding the packet, right? Request timeout because of your source guard, IP source guard. Again, if I will change the IP to 10.10, and then if I will ping, then ping should work. Like so. See, this machine whose MAC address is, see now again ping is working. Machine whose MAC address is show IP all. This one show IP all. This one can only use this IP address 10.1.1.10, and it can only connect their device on G0/3 port.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Okay.
See what I am expecting. You know the DHCP snooping, how attack can happen and how you can prevent that attack.
Yes.
You know dynamic ARP inspection, and you know IP source guard, or you can say IP source verify. Now next topic is port security. Port security is also for LAN port. You can allow a specific MAC address or list of MAC address on a particular switch port. For an example, this PCA MAC address is PC1, MAC address is A. So I can only allow a MAC address on port number 1. If any other user or if switch is going to receive traffic with any different MAC address on port number G0/0, switch is going to shut the port, or switch is going to drop the packet, or it can send a log message to network admin. Right, here is the admin, it can send the, that is your violation, right? You have multiple violation. You can configure one, what action you want to take if any unauthorized user is sending traffic on this switch port. So it is used to limit the MAC address on switch port. Clear? Used to limit the MAC address on switch port. By default, on the switch port, all the MAC addresses are allowed, right? The switch can receive traffic with any MAC address on this port. If the client machines are getting IP address from the DHCP server, at that time you can inspect the R packet and DHCP message through DHCP Snooping binding table. But if let's suppose on the client machines I have configured IP address statically, in that case switch is not maintaining any table even for ARP inspection. So anyone can send traffic with any MAC address on switch port, and you can limit that with the help of security feature called port security. Okay, should I write definition here? Port security is like a security guard at the switch port, and we can tell to the guard only these devices are allowed on this port. It says only these MAC addresses are allowed on this port if any other device comes in, I will block it. Clear? Why do we need port security? Can anyone tell me that? Why do we need port security on the switch port?
So someone can't just walk up and unplug a device and plug their device into it?
Exactly. Without port security, anyone can plug their device on switch. Without port security, anyone can plug a device into a LAN port or switch port, right? Attacker can connect unauthorized devices on switch port, and attacker can launch MAC flooding attack. It can send lots of dummy packet, right? Your MAC address table of switch can full. It can send lots of request packet, lots of DHCP request packet. These are flooding kinds of attack, and port security prevent these kinds of attack. If port security is not configured, then attacker can send thousands of fake MAC addresses, and switch have to learn. You know, switch can learn multiple MAC address on a single port, correct? Can switch learn more than two or more MAC address on single port?
Yes.
Yes, it can. Right? So this is a PC. From this PC, by spoofing the source, I will be sending lots of traffic, lots of dummy traffic, and switch will be learning all the source MAC addresses in their MAC address table. So switch cam table or MAC address table can overflow. Right here, switch will start behaving like hub. When MAC address table is full, then switch will behave like a hub, because switch cannot learn the new MAC address, genuine MAC address. And you know, whenever switch don't have entry for destination MAC address, it perform a non-unicast forwarding, that is broadcast only. That is exactly same types of forwarding like hub. Am I right?
Yes.
That's why port security is a very important, and this is very important topic of switching. Right? It prevent rogue laptops, rogue PCs, server, IP phones. How port security works? Port security is going to limit the MAC address on LAN port or on the switch port. It will learn manually. You can define, hey, switch port, you can only learn a MAC address on this port, or a MAC address and B MAC address on this port. Or we can say, just do one thing, copy the MAC address from your MAC address table. Whatever MAC address you are going to learn first in your MAC address table, just bind that with interface. No need to create manually entry. It can bind the MAC address from the MAC address table. Whatever MAC address it is going to learn first on the switch port, that will be bind on interface. That is ST key learning. That is going to be your ST key learning. Or manually you can attach the MAC address. Manual configured or auto learn or auto or ST key learning, you can say. And if there
Manually
is
would take a long time.
Hmm?
I said if you did it manually, it would take a long time if you have a lot of devices coming on that port.
Correct. You will bind manually for servers. for static devices. And if any violation occurs, then switch is going to take action based on different mode. So we have different modes in port security. Based on that, switch is going to take action. Anyone have idea about the modes?
Violation, sir?
Yeah, violation. How
Restrict.
many modes are there? Protect, restrict, and shut down. Right? These are the action which you can configure on the switch. Like if there is any violation, then switch should take what action. In protect, what switch will do? In protect, switch will silently drop the packet, nothing else. Right? If let's say here I have bind a MAC address, if switch is receiving traffic with a MAC address, then it will forward process. If switch is receiving traffic with any other MAC address from source MAC B, it will silently drop it. It will not generate any log. It will not put your port in error disable mode. It will not shut the port. It will silently drop the packet. Right? So whenever you want to drop the unnecessary traffic like unauthorized traffic, you will configure this mode, protect mode. And this mode is commonly used in enterprise network. It is used to drop the traffic drop. Restrict. Restrict, you know what switch will do? Restrict is combination of protect plus log. Protect plus log means it will drop the packet unauthorized. Whenever it is receiving traffic from unauthorized user, it will drop the traffic and it will also generate a log. Right? It can give log to the admin that hey, see, some authorized traffic is coming on my port. And shutdown is going to put the interface in error disable mode. Shutdown is going to put the port in error disable mode. Right? See, this one, shutdown is the most commonly used mode, not protect. Sorry, it was my mistake. Shutdown is the most commonly used mode of port security. Can I move to the configuration?
Yes.
It is generating messages. Let me do one thing here. Let me configure this lab in PKT. PKT will be better because in the PKT we can change the MAC addresses, right, for the testing very easily when we can verify the logs. Okay, so switch 1, and here I have some PCs. And let me take one router as well as a gateway. Automatic cable. Have we discussed about cable or not yet? cables?
No, we haven't, sir.
So still pending. Okay, you can see all the ports are up. Here let me configure IP address 10.1, 10.1.1, and gateway is 10.1.100 for an example. Go to PC2, 10.1.2, PC3, 10.1.3, 10.1.100, and finally PC4, 10.1.4 or 400, right? So in the switch you can check MAC address table. Switch will have MAC address of these all PCs in their MAC address table. So MAC address table, right? So two MAC addresses are there in MAC address table, one on port number 4, one on port number 5. You can bind these MAC addresses with interfaces with the help of port security, or you can create manual entry. Let me show you how you will configure this. First, let me select the interface. Config T, all LAN interface. Interface range F0/1 to 5. Then switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 10, or sorry, VLAN 1, the default VLAN only. After that, switch port security. This command will enable port security feature on switch port. By default, port security feature is disable. Then switch port security maximum, port security and maximum. These ports can learn how many MAC addresses on port 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many MAC address you want to allow on these ports? Tell me, guys. How many MAC address? 1?
133.
1 for now. Maximum MAC address 1, right? So it cannot learn more than 1 MAC address on these ports, right? Like let's suppose you know that my PCs or end devices will be using only single MAC address, so you will allow only 1 MAC address. But here we have servers, and on the servers we have multiple VMs. A single client is generating traffic with multiple MAC address, right? Based on that you will configure maximum. Clear? And sometime if you have IP phone here connected with PC, then also maximum should be
Maybe 2.
yes. Or a switch port is connected with hub, and then hub is connected with again 4 PC. So you have to allow 4 MAC addresses. All good? Okay. Switch port. Switch port. Port security. And we have configured the maximum. Then MAC address. What MAC address?
Sticky.
Allow. So you can see there are 2 ways. I can define the MAC address statically, or I can use the sticky option. In sticky option, it will configure dynamically. It will bind the MAC address dynamically with the help of MAC address table. Sticky.
It's static, right, sir?
The first one is static.
Okay.
ST key, and then switch port security violation. What action you want to define? So you can see 3 actions are there: protect, restrict, and shut down.
Shut down.
Okay, so let me configure what? Which one?
Shut down.
Shut down.
Sir, by default, which one is enabled? Like if we
By default, port security is not enabled. It is disabled.
no, not I am talking about the violation. Like if we do not set
Violation
the
is also
violation.
not configured.
Okay. Like you have to manually.
I think restrict is appropriate because shutdown is going to shut down the port, right?
It is going to shut the port and it will generate the not log. It will put the port in error disable mode, and it will
So
not generate any
restrict
log.
is appropriate. Restrict is appropriate or protect.
Restrict
Yeah.
will drop the traffic and it will generate the log message. It will not shut the port.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
will configure all. Let me first configure shut down then. Okay, and here you can see I'm going to update the MAC address table of switch first. MAC address table is not updated, so ping 10.1.1.2, 10.1.1.3, 10.1.1.4. And in MAC address table also statically we can bind MAC address, right? Statically we can create the entry. You know this. Statically also we can create entry in the MAC address table, correct? 4.
Yes.
Now if you will check the MAC address table of switch, so MAC address table update, and all PCs are able to communicate with each other, no any issue. Now if I am going to change MAC address on, let's say, PC1, let me take you over here, go to interface and change MAC address from B to, I am saying, C. MAC address is changed. Go to desktop and generate traffic now for any other PC. See what happened. Port is
Shut down. Error disabled.
this port is in error disable mode on the switch. Here you can see administrator mode is down, line protocol is down, and show interface status. Port is in
Error disable. Okay.
error disable mode, right? If you will change the MAC address again on this PC, let's suppose I have unplugged this computer, unauthorized computer, and now I am going to plug correct PC, the authorized PC here. It was B, na? What was
Yes,
the
it
MAC
was.
address? Let me check.
It was B.
So MAC address table, not there, it was B. So I have again connected the correct PC, but still you can see my port is in error disable mode. It cannot send any traffic. What is the solution? How to fix it?
Shut
No
down.
shutdown. No shutdown.
No shut down.
Exactly. Shut the port and then run no shut command. Config T interface F0/3 shutdown and then no shutdown. Port is in still.
It will take some seconds, I think.
So interface status. Now you can see the status of F0/2. It's still in error disable mode.
You have did 0/3, no
Shutdown
0/2,
and no
no
shutdown.
shutdown. Yeah.
Now your port is coming in forwarding state soon, right? STP will take 30 seconds. Right? So this time you have seen switch has not generated any log message, correct? Now I'm going to change the violation. See, again this PC can forward the traffic. Ping is working, everything is okay. Now on the switch I am going to change the violation. Switch port, port security, violation, from shutdown to
Restrict.
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 restrict. Okay, the command is available on the interface only. Interface, where is my interface? Range command, not able to find. Interface range F0/2 to 5. And now switch port, port security, violation, restrict. And this time again let me open simulation mode. Let me change the MAC address. See, desktop, and before sending traffic I am going to clear all the log on switch. Done. Now go to PC 1 and I am going to send traffic 10.4. See what happened? Port is not set. Is port set? Not set. It is going to send the traffic. What will happen? Switch is dropping it, right? And it will be generating
Dropping.
log message
Log.
for you. It is not giving log. So this is because of PKT, packet tracer, right? It will be generating log message, and later you will learn how to send log message to a particular server. In this case, switch is not going to set the port. Your port is still up. It will be only dropping the packet and it will also generate the log message. Here it is not generating log message. This is because of, I think, packet tracer. Let me try once again from PC1. If I am going to ping.
Sir, in packet tracer, it will not show the log.
Yeah, same I am saying. Okay, but it is dropping the packet. And one more violation is there. You can check that. But that will also looks like this only. That will be dropping the packet. And as soon as I will connect the authorized PC here, again it will allow the traffic. B, and then go to desktop and check. Ping is again working. To verify log, here we can do one thing. I can enable port security on this switch. But here how I will change the MAC address. I can do one thing here. Interface G0/0 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 1, switch port port security, switch port port security maximum 1, switch port port security violation restrict, and switch port port security MAC address. And here I am going to configure MAC address statically. MAC address of PC is this one. I am going to change one digit here. Let me say 3, right? That's it. Enter. And now if this client machine is going to generate traffic, ping 10.1.1.2, let's say. Here you can see the log message. It will generate this kind of log message. Port security violation. Security violation occur caused by MAC address, this one, right? Even you are getting the MAC address, like for which MAC address there is violation, right? This would be the MAC address, but The MAC address is not this one. This is what port security. Is it clear, guys? Everyone? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
What if you have two MAC addresses from the same port? How you can do that statically?
First of all, you have to change the maximum command. Interface G0/0 switch port security maximum. Maximum you will configure 2 here. And now you will configure the MAC address here. This MAC address and this MAC address, both the MAC address is allowed on this port. Now you can see from PC1 if I am going to ping. What is the IP
Sir,
address
in
of
this
any other
condition,
PC? Wait a minute.
okay,
So IP
okay.
all 7 ping 1.7. It is not able to resolve MAC address, but you can see traffic is passing from the switch port, right? So 2 MAC address is allowed. So port security, here port security is enabled on this interface only, G0/0. And how many MAC addresses are allowed here? 2. Both the MAC addresses are bind. Here cont and action you can see restrict. You can allow up to how many MAC addresses? Address and
132.
based on address also you can find the port. Not 132.
Okay.
Haven't we did some confusion for the port G0/0? You gave him 2 MAC addresses.
Yes.
Is this the problem why you couldn't ping?
No, bro, that is
Could it
not
be
the
the
issue.
problem?
See, ping will work.
These are allowed.
Maybe it is taking 30 seconds because of STP. Ping will work. Wait. So IP all 10.1.10 and ping 10.1.254. See, ping is working.
Okay. Just another doubt. This kind of security that we are port security, I mean, or we can make it all together with the securities or the configurations that we studied till now.
Yes. See, DHCP Snooping
Okay.
is also enabled here.
Okay.
ARP Inspection is also
Thank you.
enabled over here, right? Only this port is trusted for DHCP. G1/1 is trusted for ARP Inspection, and then on the access ports I have configured port security. In STP you will enable port fast, and then you will run these all commands of port security: switch port security, switch port security violation, switch port security maximum, switch port security MAC address, right? And that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, guys?
Sir, I have a question. Which command was it to see the trusted and untrusted port on the switch?
So IP
Both.
DHCP Snooping. And
But
so
that one
IP
shows
DHCP
only.
ARP Inspection. For ARP Inspection, for ARP you will use
No,
this
I
command.
mean for
DHCP
snooping.
Snooping. This command.
But that one show only trusted, right? But I have seen you used, and I have seen both trusted and untrusted. I don't remember what command you used.
I can also not recognize that. Let me see.
It works sometimes? I don't know. I'm confused with that.
No, that command is not available here. DHCP. This is
But on the last lecture, I have seen you used, and there were both trusted and untrusted. But I don't know if,
yeah,
if it works
but
sometimes, or I don't.
I am not able to recall the command. Let me see if I can find for you.
Binding question mark.
So IP DHCP snooping binding question mark. Binding entry IP. No, this is different thing. Binding table is different thing. Here he is talking about untrusted port. So here you can find DHCP server. No, this is list. With help of question mark, you can check all the commands. Somewhere definitely you will find.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll check it.
Binding.
Thank you.
IP DHCP snooping trust question mark.
IP DHCP trust command is not there here.
Snooping trust question mark.
Snooping and trust. Where is trust? Trust is not there. You can check the command through question mark. Okay.
Yeah, I'll check it. It's okay.
Anything in port security not clear to anyone?
So whenever we configure the port security in a port under the port, so in that time we can also configure the recovery error visible for every time we need to bounce the port manually if the violation happened, so we can avoid that situation.
Yeah,
It's
you can
automatically
configure the
rebound.
recovery as well.
Okay.
Definitely. Now there is one more security feature on the switch that is called span. This is the last one. Span. Before span, switch port protected. Not commonly we use it. Switch port protected. You know, by default your all switch ports are unprotected. Done. And remember, two protected ports can not communicate with each other. Let's suppose here I have a switch. I have a server, and on the switch I have some client. I don't want PC1 to access server before configuring policy based on IP on the gateway. Right here on access layer switches only, I want to block the communication between PC1 and server. PC2, PC3 should be able to access this server, but PC1 should not be able to access S1. Right? Let's say this is 0/0, 0/1, 0/2, and 0/3. Right? So what you can do, you can configure these two ports as protected port. Right? Two protected port cannot communicate with each other. These ports are unprotected. This port is protected. So unprotected can communicate with protected. Unprotected can also communicate with unprotected, but two protected port cannot communicate with each other. This is a small security feature available on your switch. If you want, like sometime you will have requirement that these all clients should be allowed to access this server, allowed to access internet, but these client machines should not be allowed to communicate with each other. Getting my point? These client machines should be able to access internet, should able to access server, but should not be able to talk with each other. In a particular department, you don't want to allow local communication. You can configure these all ports as protected port, right? And here is your router. Router is connected with switch, and this is gateway. This port is unprotected, so protected port can still communicate with unprotected port, so it can access the internet. This is also one small security feature on your switch port. Command is very simple. Right now you can see PC1 and PC2. PC2 is using what IP? So IP all. There is some issue between PC1 and PC2. Let me check PC3. So IP all ping 10.1.1. What is the IP address of PC1? So IP all 10.10. Let me ping it. See, ping is working. PC1 and PC3 are able to communicate. Let me ping PC2 as well. 7. It is not working. I had configured some security feature there. So let's say PC1 and PC3. I don't want to allow communication between these two PC. What I can do, I can configure these two ports as protected. Right now, you can see PC1 ping 10.1.1.8. Ping is working, right? Even able to access internet, means router. Gateway is also reachable to 54. I only want to stop communication between these two PC1 and PC3. So what I will do here on the switch, I am going to enable this small security feature. Config T, interface range G0/0 and G0/2, and I will say switch port protected. That's it. Now if you will ping from PC1 to PC3, then ping will not work. Now you can see ping is not working, but still you can access internet. You can ping other devices in the LAN. Let me show you the gateway. Gateway is still reachable, right? So you can see protected port is able to talk with unprotected port, but two protected port cannot communicate. Just keep it in mind, nothing else. Now our topic is span. Anyone have idea about span? What is span? Span stands for what?
Switch port analyzer.
Switched
Port analyzer.
Analyzer, right? It is used to analyze the switch port. This is port monitoring feature on the switch port. Port monitoring, also it is also called as port mirroring. You can check the spelling, I am not sure about that. Okay, port mirroring, you can say port mirroring or port analyzer, or what we can say, we can say a span is used to analyze network traffic passing through switch port. Passing through switch port. Example, again LAN network, switch. I have some users here and I want to monitor these users. Let's suppose you want to monitor, like these users are forwarding which kind of traffic on internet, or these users are talking with each other, which kind of traffic these users are exchanging. Are there any user downloading movie, watching YouTube video, like that? Monitoring. Log server. Okay, so see, a span is used to analyze the traffic on switch port. Whatever traffic will pass from this port, whatever traffic this user is going to generate, this user will send to switch, or whatever traffic switch is going to send to this user, both traffic can be monitored through a span. How? In the span you will configure these ports as a source port, whatever port you want to monitor, right? The ports where you want to monitor the traffic will be your source port of a span, and the port from where you want to send one copy of that traffic will be the destination port. For an example, these ports are my source port and this port is the destination port. So now if this PC whose IP address is 10.1.1.1 is, let's say, pinging to internet, it will generate ICMP packet. In the ICMP packet, source IP 10.1, destination IP 8.8.8, source MAC A, destination MAC, let's say P, the default gateway MAC address. User will send traffic to switch. Switch is going to learn source MAC address, then it will forward to router, but span is also enabled, so it will send one copy to router and one copy from the destination port. One reply will come. Similarly, switch will send a reply to this PC as well as one copy of that reply to this log server from the destination port. Clear? It will send a copy of traffic to another port on the switch. Now this server, log server, can be connected on the local switch or it can be connected on another switch when source port is on different switch and destination port is on different switch, right? There are three scenario. One, my destination port and source port both are on the single switch. Scenario number 2, my source port and destination port are on different switch in same LAN, in same site, right? And scenario number 3, your source port are at different branch and your destination port is at different branch, right? Like two sites are there, one is in India, one is in London. So in the India, here I have lots of users and these users are connected with switch. I want to monitor traffic of this user here, but my log server is at different site, right? At different site. So different site will be reachable through VPN, through tunnel, right? Let's suppose this is router. Later you are going to learn how you will connect two different sites. Together, where what you will learn later, how to connect two private sites through public network. If these sites are connected through internet, you will learn the routing here, don't worry. But for now, just I can tell you one thing, here you have to create VPN, virtual private network. So when you want to send span traffic, monitoring traffic over tunnel, then you will configure different span. Here is my server now, right? So we have total 3 types of span. One is local span, this one is remote span, when my source and destination are at different switch, and when my source and destination are at different site, then ER span. Just give me 1 minute please. Okay, so guys, what is a span? A span is called port mirroring. It is used to analyze traffic passing through switch port. It will send a copy of traffic to another port on the switch. A span monitor received as well as send traffic. Even you can control this if you only want to monitor the send traffic, like I want to see the traffic which my client machine is forwarding, right? So you can monitor only receive traffic. If you want to monitor only transmit traffic, you can do that, as well as you can monitor both types of traffic. So span monitors receive and transmit or send traffic on one or more source port to the destination port. Only traffic that is enter or leave switch port can be monitored. Remember that. Okay. Now types of span. So we have total 3 types of span. First one is local span. When source and destination both are on same switch, that span is called local span. Second type of span is remote span. When source and destination has a different switch. This is going to be very interesting, right? And there is concept as well, very interesting concept. And one more type of span is there that is not in our syllabus. Okay, so we will discuss these 2 types of span in next class with practical. After that I will move to